Hi guys, Miss Night Terror here and I hope everyone is doing okay. I do have a very spooky story for you tonight. Before we go into the story, I just want to say thank you very much for all your support, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, everything. I really appreciate it, so thank you so much. This story is from Reddit. I will put the link at the bottom and yeah, just relax, take your seat, whatever, and just listen very closely. I'll see you soon. Bye. I lived with my girlfriend and her parents for most of the week, at least 5 of 7 days. And when I started spending a lot of time in the house, my girlfriend tried to spook me with stories about her room. She told me that the handprints would appear on the walls and would reappear after being wiped away. I believed absolutely 0% of that rubbish at first. But then I started noticing some odd things for myself. First off, handprints. I first saw the handprints about 18 months ago. They are defined hand shapes, not just splodges or marks. My girlfriend's walls are painted purple, and the handprints appear in white, as though someone slapped the wall with a hand covered in flour. After I wiped them away, they reappear, although fainter after a couple of hours, and faded gradually by themselves. These marks have only appeared a handful of times, and I explained it away with the assumption that it was just my girlfriend inadvertently touching the walls with hands covered in makeup, etc. The second, electrical equipment acting very strange. So one night my girlfriend and I fell asleep watching a movie. This was about a year ago. I got up around 3 a.m. and plugged out the television, as I am extremely paranoid about electrical fires. When we woke in the morning, the television was on, displaying a fuzzy white screen. While I thought that I may have dreamt plugging out the television, I cannot come up with any explanation as to how the channel could have switched from EXT1, which we were using to watch our DVD, without any manipulation from either of us. On another occasion, in the middle of the night, her DVD player went haywire, switching itself on and off, opening and closing the disc tray of its own accord. I could have sworn it was plugged out when we went to sleep, but again, I cannot prove this. I plugged it out and the problem ceased. As a side note, the light bulbs in the house last longer the further away from my girlfriend's room they are. They tend to blow after every few weeks in her room. 3. Strange sleep activity. My girlfriend is recently taking to commenting on how strange I am in my sleep. About a year ago she told me that I'd started to sleep uneasily, waking up with nightmares and jolting awake often in the night. This has gotten so bad that last night she burst into tears trying to wake me up. According to her, I jolted straight up in bed with a wide grin on my face. I turned to her and spoke unintelligibly, saying something about a door. She pushed me across the bed in fear. I have no memory of these events whatsoever, and I am paraphrasing my girlfriend's description of events. Worth mentioning is that no one who has ever shared a room with me has ever mentioned this to me. Just a really heavy feeling. I realise this is tenuous and I will probably be laughed at for this. But when in my girlfriend's room there is a feeling of a presence. It has always been there, but in the light of recent events it seems harder to ignore. For as long as my girlfriend has lived in her current home, she described this feeling and always attributed it to her dead granddad. However, I have always felt the presence is a female, but we both agree that the presence is focused in the top corner of her room, above the window to the right. In the night, this is the darkest spot in the room, and I often feel as though I can see a figure in this corner, clinging to the ceiling. Although my girlfriend refuses to point blank to talk about this, I am a skeptic. I currently study anthropology in university with a background in psychology. I performed well in school with A marks in maths and science. I always look for rational explanations before anything else. However, today my girlfriend passed out in her kitchen for no apparent reason. We both eat healthily and make sure to keep hydrated. She slept a full night's sleep. Neither of us use drugs or drink excessively. She just passed out, describing a weight on her chest before seeing black dots and passing out onto the floor. After the story she told me about how I acted last night, I couldn't help but be unnerved, and despite the illogicality, my gut told me that these events were related. The moment I stepped in the door after work, I was hit with a sense of unease, and I had to stop cooking dinner to go up and ask my girlfriend, who was resting in bed, whether I was forgetting something I had to do. I had to know if there was anything that could provide a logical explanation for the sense of restless unease that came over me. Although I am sure to many who read this, if anyone does read this, will be sceptical, and rightly so, I hope that you will try to explain the goings on in my girlfriend's house logically and without resorting to the paranormal. My own objectivity is compromised, but maybe the people of Reddit can shed some new light on my situation.